Hey everyone, it's Christy and I'm here to give you some more insight on how to unveil, illuminate everything that already belongs to you. Before I jump into it, I want to remind you to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and tell your friends about this channel so they can experience the abundant life that God gave us from the very beginning. And to also hit the bell icon if you haven't already so you'll get notified immediately. My website's down below if you want one-on-one coaching to stay accountable and to yourself, really, and not to me or anyone else, but just really to yourself to stay on track and to help you also recognize some lies that you might be believing if you're not seeing or experiencing what's already yours, okay? What I wanted to talk to you about today is a few different things, but I wrote it down because I started writing this out earlier for my own thoughts, really. So it did come from my heart, but I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to remember all this to get it all out there in a video. But it did come up and out of me this morning, and I'm just like, so I'm just writing it down. I'm going to go through it. I normally don't do this. I normally just go from what I do know in my knower. But I wanted to make sure I got it all. So I'm just going to take my time with this. And I wanted to first say that, you've heard me talk about this a lot, that we all have a programmed subconscious or a programmed brain from our thoughts and then produced from thoughts or emotions, okay? It all starts with a thought. And then those thoughts and our experience in our lives, when they keep happening over and over and over again, it's going to depend. It's going to depend on, how we react to those situations if they keep showing up. Your reactions count too, okay? And your emotions to those things that they keep coming up over and over again. If you're not ignoring your circumstance, meaning saying, you know what, this is just something that has been programmed in there in the past, and I can change this by thinking on the right thing or the thing that I want, then, then things will start changing. But if you keep reacting to things and situations in your life, that also just keeps it going, okay? So you want to not react either. But remember, like I said, I want to really get this in your knower that it all starts from thoughts, the emotions, the reactions, and it just keeps perpetuating over and over again if we don't change it, okay? And so, like I said, until we start changing those, because as a man thinks in his heart, so is he, okay? So we want to take every thought captive and cast down all vain imaginations. I put this in here later, so we'll touch on that again, but also the fact that it says we are supposed to guard our heart, meaning our mind. And I personally used to think that, well, I'm going to guard my heart. I'm not going to let anybody in. I'm not going to let anybody ever hurt me again, or whatever. But I learned that guarding my heart just meant guarding my mind, my thoughts, or, not my mind, but my brain, or what I think on. Think on things that are lovely and true. I don't have to protect myself, and neither do you. Okay, and that's what I'm going to talk about later with all that, as far as that goes, about whether or not we need to protect ourselves and where that actually comes from. So just remember that your life, it literally is like a mirror of your thoughts. And, this is what I wanted to get into a second ago, is that some people, when I used to think, I'll take it from me. I used to think that God was warning me about things, okay? In any given situation, like, stay away from that person, or, or whatever, or don't go there, or don't go here. And I was constantly in fear, like, should I get into a relationship even as a friend with this person, or should I go here or there? I might get in an accident. Just, thought God was warning me if I had a thought about it. But you know what? What I found out, and the truth that set me free after much study, that it was just my ego, monkey, old programming brain, okay, trying to protect me, thinking it was protecting me because of what I fed it, or what had been fed to it ever since I was a child. And, my brain, it will accept anything you give it. Your subconscious will just accept, like the submissive wife, it will accept anything that you give it. And if you hear flash in the background again, but anyway, so that's where all that's coming from. If you are in a, similar situation or whatever, your brain's trying to say, no, but I also do want to say, though, whenever it comes to people and other people in our lives, whether it's friends or romantic relationships or whatever, we can have preferences. There is a difference, and that's where I want to point out the difference between this, okay? It's not your brain trying to protect you. if you're wanting to run from a relationship or whatever, like I said, you can have preferences or whatever, but it's just because your brain keeps a record of the past and things that have happened to us. And if you get into a similar circumstance or into a relationship that was similar or whatever, and your brain's saying, go run, the amygdala's going into fight and flight mode, There's also a freeze mode that I found out about, where you will just totally shut down because your brain, because so much programming, the wrong programming is put in there, your brain's just like, no more, and it totally stops your body. And that's what I went through years back, where I couldn't even hardly move physically anymore, okay? And so, but like I said, I found out it all stemmed from my thoughts, okay? So what you need to do is just, keep on keeping on the repetition of what you do want to see, what you do want to see in a friend, or, even in your parents or whoever. We're born, to them or whatever. So, you don't really get to choose that, I guess, if you will. But, even the way they react to you or act towards you or whatever, if it's unfavorable and something that you don't want, you can even change that. You don't have to run from their parents. I know a few people who, they don't even talk to their parents anymore, but they can literally change that situation by seeing that person whole and well and them getting along and in harmonious, relationship with them and everything. So if you don't do this, it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing, and you'll go from one person, friend or guy or girl, to the next or whatever, until, you finally come to the realization, look, I'm the one creating this. We've got to take responsibility for our own lives and stop reacting, like I said, because it's just going to keep growing until you change the thoughts. And so, and like I want to get back to the thing where I said we can have certain preferences in relationships. So just, just be aware and discern, whether or not it is actually fear, some old programming in there from your previous experiences, or if it's actually a preference or whatever that you don't want. And I think you can even change that, actually, if you really wanted to. But, I don't want to say that we're controlling other people, though, right? And so when it comes to fear, it's just that. It's old programming. And God did not give us a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. So my point is, it's not coming from God. He only sees goodness. He tells us to think on things that are lovely and true and of good report. So why wouldn't we think that that's all he's thinking about, right? So he's not trying to warn us of anything. Like I said, once again, it's because of old programming. And so, let's see, what else do I want to say here? I kind of did go on my own there, not really pay attention to what I wrote down. So yeah, just shut all that down immediately. And, like I said, I had to do this myself whenever I first decided that I wanted to illuminate or unveil a new prosperous romantic relationship. And again, I told you before that I wrote down everything that I wanted to see in a person and for the way I wanted them to show up into my life. But later, I realized that some of those things that I didn't want, or some of the preferences, that I had or whatever, I had to realize that, that wasn't based on a preference. That was based on a fear from past experiences of certain things that I didn't want. That actually are good things. But I'm like, no, I don't want that because I had this experience with that or that person or whatever. So I had to sit there and discern, where is this coming from? And that's what I'm asking you to do, okay? Just figure it out. You'll just have to get with God and figure out for yourself. But like I said, fear doesn't come from God. So if it's fear, then it's probably not a preference or whatever, but just fear. So you can rewire your brain to accept your blessing, okay, and the things that you do want. Because like I said before, you can forfeit your blessing. And okay, I just said that. Just bear with me, because like I said, I wanted to take my time on this, and I don't want to miss anything here for you all. For you all. So, and you know what? God always does exceedingly and abundantly more for us anyway, than we can think or imagine. So just let go of your desire, meaning, I'm not saying not to think about it, I'm not saying if you keep having, resistant thoughts towards it or whatever, you do need to keep thinking about it. But I'm meaning let go, meaning knowing it's already done, letting the Spirit bring it forth, okay? Don't try to control situations. Let the Spirit do it. He knows what he's doing, okay? And it's already done. And what you focus on today, it will be guaranteed. You will be guaranteed to get more of it tomorrow, okay? So our conscious thoughts create those pathways in our brains to shape our lives. That's how, this is the only answer, and this is the only way it is. It's the way God created it. So everyone's going to have to come to that realization. We have to stop blaming other people and even stop blaming ourselves and just realize what's really going on, okay? So, why don't we see the results then immediately? If it's already done, why aren't we seeing results immediately? Well, like I said, it comes back to the conscious thoughts creating in your past, programming in your subconscious, okay? And that's what's manifesting. That's what's being unveiled. That's what's being illuminated, what's already been programmed in there. Because, I used to think, well, I'm conscious of these thoughts. I'm conscious of what's already, what I want. I'm conscious of my desire. So why isn't it just popping out here? Why am I not seeing it being illuminated immediately? And I had to really search deep within myself and be like, well, I've still obviously got resistant thoughts against this. So that's why it's not happening immediately, even though it is right here, right now. It's just obviously still old programming, old assumptions. So it's just on a repetition in there. And that's where we've got to stop it. So, like I said, this is why you have to do the repetitive work and rewire your brains for your desire, okay? So everything that we could ever want to experience is already available. It's in a wave form right now. It's in spirit form, and it's just ready and willing to harden into the facts right now, okay? But if we have a lot of old programming around any given subject, person, place, or thing, what wires together fires together. So if you think something about a certain situation, and then you have this person and you think this about them, that's actually wiring together in your brain, okay? And so that's what I mean by wiring and firing together. But those can be broken apart, and you can start thinking a different way, and then that'll wire and fire together. And so we just have to keep our thoughts in alignment with what we desire second by second, especially if you're new to this, especially if you're still having a lot of resistant thoughts. You will always get your desire as long as you live in that desired state, living in the end of the wish fulfilled, okay? And so you don't have to be perfect in this either, but be aware that your most dominant thoughts are creating your life. I just want to keep reiterating that, okay? So whatever your most dominant thoughts, it's already even been programmed in there. Until you rewire that, that's what's going to keep producing out here. Because, there's no time and space in the spirit. This is all already done. So they're right here and right now, your desires. They really are. And I don't want that to end up frustrating you either, okay? Don't let that frustrate you, thinking, oh my gosh, I know it's actually right here, but I still have all these resistant thoughts. Just calmly keep rewiring your brain. Calmly keep thinking on your desires if it's already done. So, let's see. Bear with me. Just keep practicing. Just keep practicing taking those thoughts captive. Most importantly, like I said, just, you can cast down those vain imaginations, but you've got to keep replacing them to rewire your brain. And, we're supposed to be living in the abundant life in every area of our lives, in our health, in our finances, in our relationships. We are supposed to be living in that harmonious, just joyous, glorious life, okay? That's how we're supposed to be living. God never meant for us to have hardships. I know some people have even said, and I had that belief, well, you got to go through hard times to appreciate the good times or whatever. That's not true. God never intended us to go through hard times. That is my belief now. And no one can change my mind on that. He's not doing anything to us. He gave us the rule and reign. So, take your life back today. Keep taking your life back. You choose life or death in all of life's circumstances. And so it also says that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, okay? So choose that single-mindedness. Choose single-mindedness, the mind of Christ. Choose love. Choose peace. Choose joy, okay? Keep choosing all that, meaning keep thinking on that. So I truly intend that this spoke to your heart, and because like God, our loving Heavenly Father, just like Him, I want to see you experience the best life, your best life, okay? So I hope this I truly intend, like I said, I always say I hope this helped you in some way, but I'm intending that it did. And I recommend that you go back through and listen to this again, because I said a lot here, and I might have kept repeating myself, but like I said, just want to really hit this home. Our thoughts create. This is the only way it is. This is the only way your life is going to completely change. This is the only way you're going to experience your desires, is if you change those thoughts. And like I said, take that responsibility. Even if no one else is around you, you do that for yourself, because you're worth it. You take that responsibility. If someone's treating you a certain way, someone's showing up in your life a certain way, don't put it on them, but don't put it on yourself either. Just realize you've got to change your thoughts, okay? It goes both ways. Each person has to, we are like God manifested in many parts, okay? So we are many parts. We're all one, joined together with the Spirit, but we all have these brains with programming in it, okay? So we all have to take that responsibility of changing those thoughts and living that abundant life like He wants us to. So I just say love and blessings to you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.